welcome to another Forensic Happy Hour. Hey, I'm not talking to myself again this week, so have Kim Thomson. He's going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, we just talk about random stuff. But you'll notice, and you'll probably be happy about it, but you just get half my face. Hey, I'm a forensic guy, not necessarily just a video guy. So hopefully you enjoy the content. Thanks. Again, I appreciate it. Kim, I want you to first, here's what we do in the Forensic Happy Hour is we definitely cheers and thank you. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I think it's kind of cool of all of the different types of forensic items out there, but tell me, what is it that you enjoy doing most in, I mean, maybe not even the forensic side of it, but, you know, in your job, in your spare time, whatever. I know that you mess with all kinds of things and tinker with things. So tell me a little bit.
I think I early on in my career, I kind of gravitated towards mobile forensics because it isn't one specific thing. You've got extraction issues, you got encryption issues, you got decoding issues, I'm kind of a little bit ADD, and so I can kind of jump around to different things. But I really like training. Training's fun. I like doing that. I like showing people how to do stuff. I like learning things. I always learn stuff from that. I think number one, I don't know. I think I like lately a lot of decoding stuff. So I write a lot of custom code for decoding random databases and crap like that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, and I think that from what obviously I've seen and the things that you provide, especially the community, it's pretty cool. So I guess look at it now in where we're all, this kind of started because we're all stuck at home, right?
Right.
So when we're stuck at home and obviously working from our home offices with all the other, what kind of work? I mean, are you still seeing things coming in? I guess the community. What are you hearing?
To be honest, I've done 2 classes online since I've been in the last month. When this all started, I was in Guatemala, and I was wondering if I was going to be stuck there for a while. It turned out I was able to flee across the border into Mexico, which was easier than it sounds. But yeah, once I got back, I did a class the next week online. It was a Python class, so it worked out really well. That was perfect. I think I actually like it better than in person. But we've also done a lot more casework. And there's some cases that I think I would probably normally not want to do, but they pay money. I mean, they're just normal stuff, some data recovery and things like that, dumping phones for people. But there are a lot of casework that I don't get to do normally because I travel so much, and so I'm out teaching, doing classes, and so I'm home, so I'm doing more casework, which is good because I'm kind of reminded of what I'm supposed to be doing in mobile forensics, I guess, like
right.
forensics now. So that's good.
So you brought up a good point. I mean, a lot of obviously with doing remote classes, right? The live classes, you mentioned that you might like it more. Honestly, I found more interaction with, remote classes with, people staying after class, so to speak, and do you think it's going to be, I guess that type of training is going to be more prevalent than actually people showing up?
I would hope so, actually. One thing I do when you travel, it's the hassle of going to travel. And from a trainer perspective, I usually stay near the venue. So it's like 5-10 minutes to the venue. When I'm home, I always say, oh, well, at least I'm home. But then I'm driving 2 hours a day to get to class. So it's kind of nice to throw on a halfway decent shirt and walk in here and do the stuff. And like you said, it's, you can record the session. People tend to hang out longer because what are they going to do? They're in their house, right? Maybe they're in their office, but still, I think it's kind of fun. For certain types of classes, I hope it becomes more prevalent, actually.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's kind of nice. I'm typically not home. Typically traveling like you are, and so I've kind of enjoyed, I guess, walking to the office, from the kitchen, and still having my slippers on and wearing shorts all the time. How about you? It's okay.
Okay.
I edit.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, I have to remember to not stand up. So on good days, I make sure I wear pants,
Yeah.
shoes if I'm feeling particularly fancy. But yeah, and lunch is what, 20 minutes? Because you just walk into the kitchen, eat something, come back.
Right.
That's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found a lot. I mean, it's been, even the people, at the office is, they're not at the office, they're at home. And I found to be, more productive because you're not getting stopped. People aren't, hey, stopping by and talking to you. And that's what a lot of the people that I've talked to are finding out. I mean, not just in the forensic side of it, but in pretty much all jobs in general
Right.
is that, hey, I get more stuff done during the day.
Right. Yeah, my son is working from home, and he's military, but he does personnel type stuff, and he says I work about 2 hours a day, and he says, and I get everything done that I used to take all day to do, and so he says as long as I do this much stuff, I can play video games the rest of the time. He goes hiking for an hour, plays video games, and does all of his work in one day. He's like, I don't know
Yeah.
how I'm doing it, but
Right.
I'm doing it.
That's what a lot of people have talked about is that, I just bust and just get all that stuff done, within 3 hours. You're like, that usually took all day. And now I'm done. What do I do now? You know, Clean the
Right.
pool, go shopping, do whatever. So I guess since you do have free time, what are you doing in your free time?
Oh, I go. We have mountains here, so I'm in Utah. We go hike a lot, so you can go take off. And hiking's a good place because there's nobody out there. And if you do see people, you can back off, you infectious rat. That sort of thing. And it's
Yeah.
easy to avoid people up on the hills. So yeah, we've been doing that and a bunch of stuff that I mean I have a list of projects that because I travel I never get to them, but I'm getting to them finally. Like this room, I know it looks like it's kind of full. I've never actually been able to use this room. Now I've got 9 total monitors in here actually mounted and connected to things, and they all work. I have a microscope that's hooked up permanently to a little Nook machine, so I can actually use this room, which is nice. It's usually got piles of halfway composed class material and crap all over, but now I can actually.
That's what I've been telling people. It's a silver lining. There's always a silver lining to everything, and especially in the situations, right? So it's been good. It has. So let's talk. You know what? One of the things that I've really noticed, especially coming from views. So give me a little bit of the history on really the Google group that you've had because back. I mean, a long time ago. I'm an old dude, but obviously we had the list back with. BK Forensics back a long time, really, like the phone forensic group, I believe it was, and Kip Loving, who still has kind of a list. So tell me a little bit about, because there's a lot of action that goes through through that listserv. So tell me a little bit about, I guess how it started, why you're doing it, what you're seeing.
Yeah, that's easy. One guy, a good friend of mine, is a detective in California, Chris Weber. We were, I guess, unsatisfied with some of the groups that were out there for mobile device stuff, and we just decided to start it. It's been about 4 years and a couple months, and we just threw it together, invited about 30, 40 people we knew. It was pretty busy for the first few months because we would answer all the questions, and then we recruited somebody who had been in a few classes. His name is Scott Lawrence, who you've probably heard of, and he became the tech nerd on the group because he never sleeps and he's a retired cop, has his own agency. And so he did a lot of work and he started doing ISP and JTAG stuff and started producing pinouts for ISP, and that kind of segued into the EDL, emergency download stuff. So he's become the tech nerd, and Chris and I have been the admins, which is nice. We just have to approve people to come on. And then I recently brought on Amanda, who why can I not remember her last name? I can't pronounce Mahan. I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm sorry. Mahan. I brought her on just to help because we have about 2,300 and I think 53 members as of today. And what's nice is that there's newbies on there and there's a lot of smart people and there's people from all over the world now. So we've got even Huawei phones. We can cover that because we never see Huawei here, but in say Australia, they do see a lot more of that stuff. So it's been a really good format. And there's other groups. There's There's a Discord server that's really great that works out well, but I like the listserv format where you've got, you can just search and find stuff. And I barely have to do anything anymore. I just kind of watch
Yeah.
and
So, a lot of it, I mean, to get technical, because, people watch this, the technical side of it to maybe take something away. So talk to me a little bit about the evolution, right? So super, super hot about, JTAG and with ISP and all that. So tell me, where is that in really the gamut right now, especially with the devices that we're seeing that are coming up?
so like where is JTAG and ISP and chip off and all that stuff? It's there, but it's more like 15, maybe 20%. JTAG, you could do that on phones that were, we talk about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I've done about 20 in the last year, and they're always cold cases. They're like grandpa's phone, and he passed away, and we want pictures. It still exists for other devices, but ISP, again, that only works if there's no encryption. And since most devices since about Android 7 have been encrypted, that's a problem. But right now we're talking EDL, emergency download is kind of the hotness because there are some decrypting EDL extractions that can decrypt some stuff. But what's nice is that the knowledge of ISP test points from before helps you with that kind of thing. And still ISP and chip off, I do those with a lot of like Amazon devices, smart TVs, I'm kind of excited because we've got a lot of IoT crap coming up. So who knows what we'll be able to do with those. And most of them are not encrypted. So that's good. But yeah, it used to be, I remember JTAG 2013, 2012, and like you could JTAG everything pretty much.
Exactly.
Like the golden years. And then ISP was big, with eMMC chips and chip off as well. But now I still do maybe 15, 20% chip offs. I tend to get devices from other places. So I do most of the phones I could get, I do chip off or ISP on because I kind of preview them before they send them to me. So I know that I can do them. But yeah, it's right now EDL is the big hotness because
so it's still, I guess if you look at it, it's obviously the training and the information that you had for mobile devices, right, for handhelds that you might have, has truly translated to almost the smart TVs, any of the smart devices that are now utilizing, there's no encryption, you don't have to deal with that at this point, right? So obviously it's still available. It just might be just a different medium that you're now.
Yeah, and I think also, like, for example, Amazon Fire tablets, only the very latest models they're based on Android 9, and so they're encrypted. But every other Fire tablet is not encrypted, so you could chip off all of those. And like you said, smart TVs, they're the same chips as on phones. They're usually eMMC chips. Maybe we'll have some UFS chips. I don't know. But yeah, it's all unencrypted, and yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we'll find. Every time I get a new device, I mess around with stuff. I got some GoPros in the other day. That was fun, doing recovery. I've actually never done recovery on a GoPro, but they're pretty fun too. So
so it was great. So I had a new AC unit. Summer's coming up. I been in the house for a while, so had to do all the new AC. And it was great because they came in and they're like, hey, we're going to make sure we're going to throw in this new thermostat for you, ecobee thermostat, with all the sensors and everything else. So they're setting it up. They got done. They said, hey, let me walk you through this thing. They explained, hey, what this is called a hamburger. It's for the menu. I said, oh, okay. So tell me exactly. It's great. So they're walking me through the whole thing, all that great. Hey, you could do Alexa. You could tell us all that great stuff. And everything going through my head was just like, I can't wait to take this off.
Yeah, take it apart. Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was supposed to give a talk at a talk called Whopper Summit. Well, it was supposed to be about a month ago, but it might be in September. But basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at the wireless, the way those devices talk on your network and the way they talk over Wi-Fi, but then correlating that with what you see in the corresponding apps and how they store their data. And so when I was stuck in Guatemala, I was doing that for a good part of my day. I was just taking the device, turn it on, scan the Wi-Fi, get a PCAP, then dump the device, pop out the chip, look at the corresponding app data, and then correlate all that crap. So it's like you're saying, it's a lot of stuff, and those things are talking to everything too. When I come in, I've paired my phone with my smart TV, so I walk in my house and they say hello, and sometimes I forget, like the echo's over there doing weird noises because my son's Bluetooth is popping on and off the echo because he's paired with it to,
Yeah.
so it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
What was really, well, so with the Echo B2, if you look at, especially with the app, so the app in itself, when you set it up, or even when you set it up on the unit, then obviously it's communicating with the application. Well, you have different settings, right? The different settings that you have are home, away, and sleep, which are the default. The away, it completely goes in, it's a geofence, pretty much, the whole concept of geofence. So it allows now, when your device is leaving, completely based on GPS, it's going to now shut down and go away, which is great information. People don't think about that, right? Is
Right.
that, hey, I want to think about the third-party messengers. I want to think about these because I want to look for the location services. Well, look at these apps, all the smart apps, because now they want to know your location so they can now save you money, right, on energy. So yeah, it just spinning in my head when they're explaining. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize how many apps do store your location. Just sometimes you don't even know why it's doing it, but it does it. But yeah, some of them have their reasons and some whatever.
Well, a lot of them don't. I mean, it's funny because you install apps, especially their iOS, and now it's pretty much, okay, it's what's your location, and people are just like, yeah, okay.
Fine, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dictionary app. Why does it need your location? So
yeah.
I mean,
It
yeah.
wants to know what country you're in so it can set the default language.
Hey, exactly right. So with that, I guess with the whole stay-at-home thing still is where you're at. What's it looking like? I mean, is it traffic? I know, especially in the Salt Lake area or in the Utah, it's always bad traffic. But is it okay now?
It's a lot better. We're kind of when we're home, we're kind of homebodies, so it hasn't changed a whole lot for us. But yeah, I guess as of today, Salt Lake is starting to open back up its restaurants with some restrictions and things like that because they've all been closed except for takeout, just like everywhere else. But yeah, Utah's kind of spread out, so it's been kind of low key. Like my wife says, I barely notice, other than the masks in the supermarket, I don't notice really the differences, and so it's been pretty fine, honestly. Like I said, Utah's not really packed in, except for Salt Lake City itself. It's pretty easy going, not too bad.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have, I guess, or since you've been home, or yeah, let's say since you've been stranded at home and you're doing, what is the coolest thing that you've done to a device?
The coolest, oh crap. I'm building right now. Just so happens I'm building. This is actually I'm waiting for an order. These are SDRs, and I got this mini circuit splitter that I'm honestly not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to be a multi-SDR receiver. It just so happens it also perfectly fits into the USB hub, which is nice. I don't know how that happened, but I've actually, what's the coolest thing? Shoot. I've been doing a ton of chip offs. Like I have all these old phones, and so I've been going through a lot of those and dumping those out. But shoot, I've got a lot of so
right.
Just doing a lot of
all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm waiting for a Wi-Fi antenna so I can sit on the mountain and scan the valley. Supposedly I should be able to get about 6-8 miles out of that. It's kind of
I bet.
That's a side project.
I bet. Do you have like a little, how on all the sporting events, where they have the big, parabolic mic and they're just listening? Do you just have that just kind of thing?
Yeah, actually that antenna is a parabolic grid antenna for 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz. So that'll be good. No, and it's that one side effect of staying home is I realized how much money I spend on restaurants when I'm traveling. Because I was looking at my bank account and thinking, why do I still have money? It's because we're eating here in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And
so
yeah.
Hey, I had a conversation just yesterday. Had a conversation on the phone with anyway, it was like an insurance thing. So I'm talking, and I mean it's a complete conversation of, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing. Hey, great. Hey, is everything going okay? I'm like, okay, I just called you and just met you on the phone. I don't, but I mean, it was kind of nice because we just had, it's nice and personal, just nice. And first thing she says to me is, man, I am getting tired of having to make my own meals. Because
Right.
everyone's eating out. I said the same thing. It's, you go out, it's just, but now we've had to eat home all the time. But 100%, you look at it and you're like, wow, I can now go buy some other stuff.
Yeah. I can
Because
buy $200 Wi-Fi antennas. No problem.
exactly. There it is. I know you're like going, yeah, you justify it. Hey, perfect. Yeah, I can now have this and this, which I think I bought another 6 phones, and just
Right.
to mess around with a couple, extra Rokus and all these other Fire Sticks just to purchase. I just start buying things.
Yeah,
Oh,
so this is what I bought the other day. This is about 90 Fire Sticks. We actually played Amazon Fire Stick 2 Jenga the other day.
I love
I
it.
actually stacked these up into a Jenga pattern and played Jenga with them.
I love it. So speaking of those, I mean, what are you getting off of them?
I'm actually going through that right now. I built it in Python. I built a little research browser, I call it. It's just to go through, mark the files that are of interest. A lot of Fire Sticks, they have some of the basic Wi-Fi and Bluetooth stuff that the Android does because they're all Android. Some of the user information, account information, activity of apps and things, but they don't have the standard Android apps, so you don't get a lot of that data. But a lot of people root those and they put Kodi on them. So used to be the X Media Center. And so there's databases from that with like all their past views and all their favorites and their streams that they've initiated. It's fun to see when it's like porn, BYU channel, porn, BYU channel. Anyway, yeah, so there's stuff. I'm going through those right now. There's a lot of logs too. And they're just text logs, which kind of sucks. But I'm going through some of those to see what.
Although, so now you just sparked something. So think of logs. To me, logs, especially on an Android side of it, and if you look at log files, there's a ton of fantastic information in a log file.
Oh yeah,
yeah, even if it's just a text file. I mean, it's a ton of great information on it. But it's obviously they're huge. And how many people do you think actually look at the log files within an Android device?
Not very many, no.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and on these, I noticed there is a log entry for when a voice event is detected. So when you say Alexa or something on an Echo, there's an event. It doesn't necessarily say what you did, but at least, like you were saying, they're home at that point. So you can see when they were actually at the house. So that's something I want to pull out. But
yeah, so the great story on the Amazon device. So I was messing around with them, and so I had, the Google Home, I had all these, the Dot, I had all these devices. So my wife and I, we went out, but I had them all plugged in, so it was great. And so I wound up having to do some testing on the Amazon device. And so I'm doing some testing on it, going through the Amazon, through the account, looking and just saying, okay, I know about the utterance. I know, hey, obviously that they mark things that as not relevant. I started listening to those. It was fantastic because my daughter was home with her friend, and it just all of a sudden, there's just throwing out expletives. Completely record the entire conversation with her and her friend. It was great. It was great. And it didn't even obviously say Alexa, didn't wake it up. It thought it woke it up, but it completely recorded the conversation. And I still, to this day, if I do a presentation, I play that.
Nice.
I'm like, listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. They're always kind of listening. Although I'm going to go back to my Echo Bee. So the Echo Bee too is when you walk by it, anytime you walk by it, it opens up and gives you the information, which is, again, fantastic, right? And I kept thinking, I'm like, hey, I wonder what else it can do. Well, you also set up and it plays music. You can talk to it. You can get anything and all the information through either Alexa or Google Home. So I'm telling you what, you need to buy one of those because I'm going to destroy it.
Nice.
My wife might wonder, where is it? But yeah, ecobee Pro, buy that bad boy. It's got some good stuff. Yeah, it's a good thermostat. So, yep, I'm telling you what, man, those are, and if you look at the app, what's great about the app, if you look at sensors, and the sensor is a very, very small sensor that you can place anywhere else in the room, but as you look at the app, it says occupied. So it knows movement, it knows everything else that's going on.
All right, gotcha. That's cool.
Another thing for you to buy, your wife can thank me later.
What's that?
Your wife can thank me later for all the money that you're going to spend.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I have no natural defense to people suggesting things. Buy this. Okay, I'll buy that.
Exactly. It's
maybe I'll never use it, but I'll have it.
Right. R&D. So cool. Excellent, man. This is, I appreciate you, though, taking some time and just having a chat because, hey, what else are we going to do?
Right, exactly. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. I did the other day. Let me show you this. This is stupid, but
no,
hanging up all my conference badges. But no, this is something I built the other day just because I wanted to annoy a friend. And so this is inside. It's a Raspberry Pi that's just, I wrote some Python code for it. I don't know if you can see that with a battery. And so I wanted to put a big annoying button on it. So I have a database inside of about 50 random tweets. So every time when it's on, when I hit the button, it'll send a tweet to this person automatically. And this switch is like the automatic. It sends a picture with it. So if the switch is on, it sends a picture. Anyway.
You're kidding me. Where's the camera? And is there a camera on there too, or it's in the camera?
But I can add it. I could add it later. That's a good idea. I'll put the camera on the front, and then it'll take a picture and then send that. Yeah.
Right. So that people will be wearing those.
Twitter is easy with Python. It's super. Yes, I have a lanyard so I can wear it. Right. So when I'm bored, hit the button. So
fantastic. So did you build that during the last, staying at home type of thing?
About 10 days ago, yeah.
So I'm saying.
Basically, I've got a bunch of Raspberry Pis. I know how to write Python as much as the next idiot, so it's just a button on a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, there we go. So.
Fantastic.
Stupid,
you know what?
Always the friends.
Everyone. That is perfect. I love it. So good. So hey, since you said Twitter, so how can people get you on Twitter? Because they all want one of those.
I am Ardject, ARDJECT. When I set up my Twitter account, I didn't think it would be a thing, and I had an Arduino project book in front of me, so I took Ardject. People are like, Ardject? What does that mean? It means nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway. Cool. Very, very good. No, I appreciate it. It's fantastic. And yeah, hopefully we can do this again. And we can say cheers because I have a little left. Because anytime this is done, it means that the beer is almost done, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
So what are you drinking?
This is a session IPA from Park City Brewery here in Utah.
Oh, very good. Yeah, hey, and I have Recoil IPA from Payette Brewing.
Oh, nice. And mine's in a tulip glass because
it is. Exactly. You are. Yes, exactly. So thank you much. Cheers.
Cheers.
And thank you very much. Fantastic. You made it through. So, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And make sure that you, follow the guests that are on Twitter and talk to them. They're super smart. So, hey, we'll be back again next week. Thanks.